Okay, y'all, so I just recorded a whole YouTube video, or at least a portion of it, and I just realized that I had something on my shirt. I was rambling, so we're gonna start this fresh. Welcome back to a daily dose of Dara, and if you're new here, thank you so much for joining our discussion. That's really what it is. It's a discussion from people who desire support, are open to giving it, and just want a community that's safe. So yeah, so today I'm just going to be talking to you all about my journey. Over my journey, for a period of time, I didn't oftentimes feel appreciated, valued, nurtured, or cared for. So I've taken it upon myself to give myself all of those things and to create a space where I put in the effort as much as I expect other people to show up and do as well. So, with that being said, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. So, today I really was writing, not too much, but about depression and how I felt over the years dealing with it. And three things stuck out to me that really pinpointed the mindset that I was in when I was dealing with all these things. And I won't say I'm completely healed or out of that state of mind or anything, but I will tell you that now I'm receiving a daily refreshment of peace and joy and love, and I can go through my day having moments where I'm completely centered and grounded and super, super thankful to be right where I'm at. Recently, I was sitting in my house, my apartment, and I was like, I'm really in my apartment not worrying about anything. And that was such a beautiful moment for me, because around the time that rent is about to become due, I would get to worrying and stressing, like, okay, did I work enough? Is it going to be money taken out of my check, for taxes or whatever? Will I have enough to live on? Will I have enough for my rent? I would just be thinking about bills to the point where I couldn't enjoy literally my life from I'll say about a week, or at least like 5 days before, to literally almost 5 days after. So I'm like, no, I don't want to live in that space where I'm worrying. Like, worrying 10 days out of the month is too much for me. Worrying 1 day out of the month is too much for me. I'm just going to take it day by day. So today, I started this channel so I can heal and create safe spaces for other people to do the same thing. So why not talk about it? Like, literally, let's talk about it. So if you felt this way, put it in the comments, let me know, because it keeps me present with what matters to you all as much as it does present with what matters to me and what's on my heart posture at the time. So the first thing I wrote down was the thought process of wanting to feel special to someone, but feeling unimportant to everyone. And that's really something that stood out to me as I typed it out, because I typed it out at first and then wrote it in my notebook. And it's just so interesting, because when I was at the place where I really felt like that, in the midst of it, it really created a victim mindset for me, where I couldn't, every relationship I had, I was seeing the worst in. It felt saddening. It felt it made me feel lowly and like I wasn't valued. And that's why, when we first got on here, I talked about being valued and appreciated and desiring those things and creating this safe space for myself and for you all, because that's a feeling that I've wanted for such a long time. And though I've experienced moments of gratitude and joy and people complimenting me, I still remember when I was a child and people would say, "You're so beautiful, you're so pretty," and I would say thank you, but I would feel like they didn't mean it. I would feel like they were complimenting me on a surface level joy, of surface level beauty, when I wanted them to compliment me on my joy that shined through. And it's so wild, because I just literally had an epiphany that the perception or perspective that I wanted people to have, someone just told me today, they were like, yesterday, you have a joy that just radiates. And some people live a miserable life and they are miserable on the inside. So when they see that in you, it bothers them. Like, how is she joyful? Because joy is different than being happy. Joy is from within, and they felt like joy only comes from God. And I was so appreciative. And it's so wild because someone, I believe earlier that day, had just told me, like, you're so beautiful and you make me happy to be a Black woman. Like, you make me want to just love the skin that I'm in, you know, something about that, around that nature. And I was just like, wow, you know. And now that I'm sitting here, it's just beautiful that people can see my heart, because I believe that's really what it is, and see, you know, my spirit, and see what I bring to my own table. And it's a great place to be when I'm not desiring to bring anything to anyone's table but my own, because once I'm giving it to myself, it tends to overflow into everyone else. And that's ultimately what I want. I don't ever want anyone to feel how I felt negatively. You know, I don't ever want to leave a bad taste in people's mouth. And I used to have a good heart but not great execution, you know. And now I am just trying to be centered every single day so I can show up and be my best, even if my best is not 100%. You know, I haven't been feeling 100% lately, but just being me is enough, and it has been enough. And that's a newer concept that I'm still learning. So yeah, so you all let me know in the comments if you've ever felt that way, if you are still feeling unappreciated, whatever it is. Like, this is a space where you can talk about it and you won't be shamed, judged, or whatever. Like, we set the ground rules, and together I'm hoping to set the foundation of love, joy, peace. And now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like I'm starting to understand long suffering, because long suffering is what has helped me and prepared me, and I feel like qualified me to be able to sit here and talk with you all today. Because some people go through, I won't talk about anybody else, but I know with me going through long suffering and understanding that I have the capacity to suffer long, I realize I don't want to suffer at all. Like, I decide how I'm going to get through the journey, and I'm going to get through it with joy. And I decided that a while ago. And it's almost like if you've ever sat in a house or a room with curtains up, like blackout curtains up, and there's no light coming in, but as soon as you open those curtains, that sunlight comes in. It's like joy has entered the room, hope has entered the room. And that's what I wanted to carry with me throughout the journey, even if I couldn't control what happened along the way, if that all makes sense. Okay, so the second thing is, the second state of mind or mindset, or, you know, thing that came to my head when I was just not at the best place was this: negativity will make you judgmental and ungrateful. And I truly believe that, because when I was in this negative state of mind, it caused me to be super nitpicky on everyone else. You know, it caused me to be like the people that made me feel the saddest, made me feel the angriest, made me feel the lowliest, you know. And to a point where I was wondering recently, like, am I getting numb? Am I getting desensitized to certain things, you know? But I can see now that that's a trauma response, you know, for me to be emotionally delayed in moments that hurt me or disappoint me, to a point where I remember being with somebody and I remember thinking, God, they are so funny, but why am I never laughing? Like, I know they're funny, I feel like they're funny, but it just like my emotions weren't present with them. And I remember asking the Lord to help me to laugh when I feel like they're funny. And I remember being around them a couple times more, and I found myself really laughing, and I was like, thank you, God, because that's something that I asked for God to give me back, was my laughter. I feel like things are serious, but like they're never that serious where we shouldn't be able to laugh. And that's what I noticed changed from me being a child to me being an adult, was because of all the stuff I went through. I wasn't laughing. Like, when things were genuinely funny to me, there would not be an emotional response. And I thought that was odd. And so I'm just glad it was brought to my attention, because that's something that I always want to do. I always want to laugh. I literally used to pray that I laughed until my stomach hurt. And just because I wanted to feel that joy. To me, that's such a joy. Like, it's like when you see a baby truly laugh at something, and you know they think it's so funny, and it just makes you laugh. It's contagious. And so that's just what I want to embody in my day-to-day life. And it reminds me of a quote someone said. It's like joy or love or laughter or something is contagious. It's like when you spray perfume, it doesn't just get on the person that you sprayed it on, it gets on everyone around them, and or everyone around you, whoever it was sprayed on. But yeah, it's just, that's how I want to be. I want to be me. Let's start there. That's who I am desiring to be, is totally and fully myself, so I can see who I am, you know? And I just want people to experience the joy and the love and the peace that I often feel, because I feel like that's what's lacking right now in society, in today's world. So yeah. All right, so point 3, this is the last one that I have for today, for this video. And this is the mind state, or the mindset that I was in, you know, when we're talking about depression and sadness, elongated sadness. We're talking about when it felt, for me, it felt like my desires were taken away, or it felt like sometimes joy was taken away, or sometimes I couldn't see the light, you know? And so this was my last thought that I wrote. Feeling like all you have is yourself, even when you have access to others. And if you know, you know. I'm not saying that, what I'm saying is that with that thought, it's like I know I can call someone, right? They may not pick up instantly, you know. They may, why did I say it like that? They may not pick up right when I call. They may not, or whatever. But I know that I have a loved one that I can lean on. You know, I know I have multiple, but I'm just saying, if I absolutely needed it, I know I have someone to depend on, that I can lean on in my time of need. But that the state of mind that depression put me in made me feel like no one was there. Like I was alone. Like no one got me. Like if I disappeared, no one would notice. They would be too consumed with their life to really see that I was hurting deep down inside. And I really used to feel like that all the time. And I would want a way out. I would want help. I would want support. But I wasn't necessarily always vocal about that. Well, I feel like I was vocal. A lot of times when non-verbal cues and behaviors speak louder than words. You know, your actions, like they say, speak louder than words. But I felt like the times that I was crying out for help with my actions, through my actions, people allowed me to crash and burn. And that's where that mindset stemmed for me. It set a foundation of me believing like, wow, people really say they love me, but when I'm crying out for help, they say that's your problem. You're an adult, figure it out, you know? And then when I was a kid, it was like, wow, like how messed up are you? So a lot of the times I would put on a show, put on an act. I won't say a show, because a show is something that's sometimes entertaining. I wouldn't put on a show. I would put on a mask. I would mask my pain. And I remember someone told me, the same walls you've built to keep everyone else out, you've trapped yourself in. And that's what made me want to fight to be free. And it's been years and years of progress and of maturing and of deciding I'm not a victim. Like I've already won the victory by being alive another day. I've already won the victory by remembering who I was and remembering my purpose and even desiring for better, you know? And so now I am goal oriented. Like that's my mindset, a state of mind that I'm in. But I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to have a place to myself. I'm grateful to have loved ones and family that care about me. I'm grateful. And when I say family, I mean people that truly I've opened my heart to, that know my inner thoughts and know me, and they still love me anyhow. You know what I mean? Like they love me through my emotions. They love me through the pain. They love me through the joy and stuff like that. And now that I know that I have that, I just decided I'm going to teach people how to treat me by how I treat myself. You know, I always valued birthdays and I felt like they weren't appreciated by others. But this year I said, guess what? I'm going to value my birthday. I'm going to celebrate myself, and I'm going to figure out how to make that happen for me. And if people come, they come, but at least I will be sitting somewhere on an island or on a beach somewhere, enjoying the sunlight, enjoying walking my feet through the sand, and just being present, you know, with the water, and just observing how it feels to be still while moving. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just a powerful thing when you call your power back to you and you lean on your support system. And for those that don't have a support system, God is a very great support system. And the great thing about life is it's a reflection of whatever you believe. So if you believe, and you truly believe, that it will work out for you. And you know what? Let's change the wording. If you truly know, not even believe, because we believe things and when they don't happen, it's disappointing. When you truly know that you are amazing, you are loved, you are valued, you are appreciated, even if it's just by yourself, that's when you've won, and that's when you've made it. And if you're not at that place in life just yet, just know that that's okay. You are doing the best that you can do. And guess what? That's enough. I almost wanted to say, that's enough. Like, you're doing enough. You being present, being who you are, is enough. And I'm appreciative if you are checking your heart posture right now and there's some things you want to work on, or if you're checking your heart posture and you're like, man, something she said made sense, something she said didn't. It's okay. Just consider what I'm saying to be my truth. It doesn't have to be your truth. But guess what? That's what the comments are for. That's what you share this with your loved ones for. That is what you journal for. That's what you get a therapist for. Just so you can have someone that's a listening ear that will understand you and will be there for you. All right, I'm going to leave you all with this quote that I have in the first part of my book, because this was a gift someone gave me, this journal. And it says, you are an amazing clinician. You're helping so much even when you don't feel like it, with a smiley face. And that to me was what I needed when I first opened this journal before I began. So I'm a behavioral health coach, if I did not tell you all before. So yeah, this is what I do. I study behavior and I help recommend coping skills that can help the youth. That's my goal, is to give back to the next generation and to always, always, always help teach people through my actions, through who I am, through who I've become, not even through who I've become in spite of all that I've gone through. So yes, it's a win for me when you all are winning, even if it's a small win. Small wins are really large wins. It's all about what you know and what you believe. So thank you all for being here. You are appreciated, you are valued, and you are loved. Peace.